some awesome sauce wins, victories, something cool that's happened in your business, something that you want to share with everybody. Who wants to go first, Jordan?
I was going to volunteer, but thank you. It's been going. It's obviously, if you're watching me or following me, we're really rocking and rolling. I go out of town for a week and a half and get back to 2 closings, so that's always very nice. My partner in crime is holding it down. He has been given the old Vidal East Coast treatment and doing a lot of owner finance recently. Um, and then we are midstream into two pretty heavy flips right now too, and kind of bringing together some really awesome resources with the contractors that we had. I think everybody had a really hard year last year, including our contractors. Down on work, people would rather sit at home and collect unemployment than get to work. So, it was our projects were slower moving because of that fact. But we've pulled a couple teams of contractors together, and they're really, really working well together right now. And then one of mine and Jacob's good friends from high school he's a Marine looking to get on his feet, and we've kind of employed him as kind of a labor guy, and he's our age, so it's really cool, two-faceted. I've got him working alongside with my hands down my best contractor. He's extremely proficient, efficient, and understands what we're trying to do with flips. So I've got one of my best friends working alongside with him, literally coattailing him, taking notes and learning from this guy. So when Brian retires in 10 or 15 years, we've got the next man up there. So business longevity is kind of what we're looking with there, and they're doing really well. So awesome. Really happy about that. And then I started getting on the YouTube train here recently. As soon as I got home, stopped by both of our properties, walked through camera side to side, and just did quick, 8 to 10 minute YouTube videos on both the properties. One, for myself to see what the progress was, and two, hey, while we're there, might as well take some photos and videos and launch those. And I've got a ton of really good comments about those, and not that they're like grade A high quality YouTube videos or anything, but sharing them through all of our local groups, like Sean recommended, is just getting a lot more eyes on our business, and we're getting messages and showing what we're doing in our business it's turning into more and more deals in the pipeline. People are emailing us, sending us, multifamily, single family, whatever they've got, they're sending them to us. So we're kind of clicking on all cylinders right now. Very busy.
Awesome. Something I'm going to encourage you on that front. Something Roger and I talked about a couple weeks ago, actually. We were looking at some data from TRC and why is TRC's website grown such a kind of monstrous amount of authority in such a very short amount of time. I can even let Roger share here in a second on what I mean by that. But pushing them into your site, right? You're doing the right things, YouTube, social, being active, these type of things, but instead of them just simply emailing you, pushing them over to the site, having them do something on the site. Even if you start noticing, hey, we do these and people want to send us opportunities, create a quick form in HubSpot, slap it on a page on your site and say, hey, jump over here, fill this out. Just getting that traffic to that site, you're already doing the hard work. They're already intrigued and want to work with you, or kind of reach out to you. They'll go to whatever channel you dictate and tell them to go to. Is going to help with a piece of that. So we'll probably circle back to that here in a little bit. Roger, kind of a wink, heads up. Maybe if you want to pull something up to show on that part. So, but good job on that. I have seen you active, and it's obviously.
I'll speak to that a little bit too. We've got a lot of HubSpot form submissions. Just did the live video on our new rental. Boom, had like 3 or 4 submissions wanting to rent that place. Did the YouTube videos, and like Roger was teaching, to put the web link in the description of the YouTube video. I've been doing that, and I see form submissions on each one of those properties too. So yeah, that's definitely helping. But I see what you're saying too, like actually telling them, like, go here.
Yep. And we'll circle back on that because it's a really cool point. But good job. Anybody else? Speaking of YouTube, Lorraine. Then Nikki, I saw your hand. We'll come over to you.
Go, Lorraine.
Yeah, so I
I finally got like a thumbnail made for one of the videos that I did a while back. And then I didn't even realize I didn't have a banner for my YouTube video, my YouTube channel. So I got that done. So I posted that. So that's been going pretty well. And I want to increase people or traffic going to my channel. I also I had put together like this, I guess, lead magnet type of checklist thing. So then I went on Fiverr and I had someone kind of like dress it up a little bit. And then I reached out to support and I asked them if they could put it on the Linktree link that I got created. So I've already had like 3 or 4 people opt in to download that checklist from. So I have it to the Linktree link, and then they embedded it in my website. So that's been going pretty well. And then we had like a RIA meeting on Saturday. So like they have this like marketing and technology subgroup that I'm part of. So as part of that, it kind of prompted me to create the newsletter. I've been talking about wanting to put together a newsletter for the people who've been opting into my website, but that are not really ready to move forward yet. So I put together the first, like, I guess, email of sorts for the newsletter that I wanted to get started. So I shared that with the group and everybody was, oh, great, you did, so I got a lot of good feedback coming from that. So yeah, I've been putting things into action. I feel like there's something else I wanted to share, but so far those are the things that I have in place. So now the next steps are, I want to get the video that I did with Mickey. I want to get that edited and get that posted, and then also the one that I did with Social Soaring, and try to get that on the channel as well. And then also my own videos of just like maybe getting on a live or just doing a video and getting that posted. So those are all in the works.
Perfect. Love it. Love it. Mickey, I saw your hand earlier.
We have been working more, so the leads are coming in, and of course now we're like, where is the money to match the lead? And so we're focusing more on private money lender. And to tell you the truth, I didn't focus that much, except sending my intention to the universe, because we're on a trip and all of that. But somehow people are seeing you, right? I still don't know how people trace us, but they landed, like they've seen our YouTube, they've went onto our website, and they were just like, you are a company that we want to work with. We feel very comfortable lending you money. Mm-hmm. And as I was going into, we were just on a Zoom meeting with that PML, and sharing screen, showing the website, showing each project and everything that we do. I just felt very confident into what we were doing, because the website has things to show that are really ours, right? Those are things that are ours. And so it was just so easy. It made it so easy to explain who we were and to have that authority and just to build that confidence, and then them trusting us into lending into one of our projects. It has never been so easy to kind of raise money. That's what I wanted to say.
I love it. It's a perfect testament to you're out there, right? And they're sitting there going, we love you. Don't know you, but we love you. Because you're obviously very active. You got a lot of things out there. You've got a really well established and crafted site. You're active on your site. You're adding things to it all the time. You're adding things to your social. You're adding things to video wise. And this perfect example. In this case, it's private lenders, but it could be anybody, right? It could be any type of possible client, customer, whatever the case. Simply because I forget who it was. I think who was I talking to? Jane, was it maybe you? I was talking about the little floppy things outside of a storefront. You guys know what I'm talking about? The little
I think it was I
Just
think
for
we were
car
talking
sales.
about that.
There was a couple of you guys last week I was having this talk with, right? They blow these stupid things up outside of buildings, right? They just sit there and flap all over in the wind. And I was using that as the analogy that if you just put one of those outside your storefront, sure, you'll probably get a look because it's flopping all over the place, catches somebody's eye. But what if you had 100 of them stupid things flopping around out there? I think cars would probably stop and wonder what the heck is going on. Why do they got so many, right? What if you had 100 of those and 3 hot air balloons hanging over top of your building? They're probably going to wonder really what's going on and stop and come in, right? Marketing's the same thing. If we're putting a bunch of those out, aka we're videoing up a storm, we're posting up a storm, we got information galore on our website, our social medias are incredibly active, we're relevant, we're in the moment, we're out there, somebody's bound to see it. And they're bound to see it enough to catch their eye, and then they start looking. And it's exactly what Jordan just said. It's the same thing Mickey's saying. They start looking and they realize, wow, you're legit, right? Lorraine, you've been seeing this happen. I love that post you put, who thought a banner would cause it? Well, that banner just brought a final piece of credibility, right? That added something that then somebody started to notice that maybe and started looking deeper into things and realized, oh, okay, Lorraine's not just somebody trying. Lorraine's the real deal. She knows what she's talking about. Mickey, Akin developers, they're not just trying. They're a real deal, right? You're pretty out there and active on it. So kudos, congrats, and it's just a testament that the work pays off, right? It's not instantaneous, doesn't happen overnight, but month over month over month, you've been pretty consistent, and it's starting to flourish, right? What you sowed a few months ago is finally starting to reap your harvest today. So awesome job. Anybody else, something they want to share, something good that's been happening or whatever? Right all.
It's funny how you said that, Mickey sent it out to the universe, right? I was at Home Depot yesterday. I went and just got some rocks. This has nothing to do with the website, but this has to do with marketing. I went and got some rocks and what else did I get? Some stones. Anyways, there was a guy there loading up a whole bunch of mulch into his truck. And I just went over to him and I said, here, can I help? So I helped him. Put some mulch in there. And then I said, hey, so what are you doing? Well, I'm doing a rehab. Oh, so you're doing a flip. Well, yeah, my sister left me a house and blah, 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 blah. Right. So how long have you been doing it? 17 months. Oh yeah, I'm a real estate investor myself. Oh yeah, how long have you been doing it? 17 years. Really? Oh, anyways, long story short, we got to talking. He's a production guy, makes a whole bunch of cash, doesn't really want to do this, but he likes it, the money on the side. And he has, after we talked a little bit, he's got 2.5 million credit line with the bank. And so just out of the blue, I don't know if this guy's gonna be a private money lender, if he's gonna be a partner. I have no freaking idea. But the guy was totally interested. He says, man, I was talking to my partner 2 days ago about us finding a really good contractor to do some work for us. And I said, well, I don't do contracting work. I partner up. You have to have a team. That's the way you make this stuff work. And he was listening. And so who knows what can happen. So not on the website, but just opening up your freaking mouth. And also I ran a marathon, this half marathon this Saturday and got my fastest time in 7 years. That's a win. Yay.
Awesome.
So. I have a
Cool.
lot.
Anybody else?
Well, Maria and I finally got the first, Social Soaring put our new infographic and everything out for the first time today. So we're just getting that ball rolling. So I'm super excited about that. So it's just go from there and we know it'll happen.
Where else we promoting that thing?
Well, everywhere, Sean, but right now it's on there. It's coming.
No, but we just got postcards done too that the title company is sending out for us.
Yeah.
So there's going to be about 500 or 600 postcards, very specific, that all have that same LizandMarie.com/save now.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's my new motto.
Go.
What was it? Save now?
Save now. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And so just so you know, I officially retired and I was so excited that I called my dad, who I never talked to, and was like, Dad, how you feel right now? Because your baby girl retired from her day job and before my 40th birthday. So just had to make my dad feel extra special.
Awesome. I love it. Congrats.
Thanks.
Now the real work begins.
Exactly.
Yeah, but this is fun, even though that might have been fun, but this is, you can't call it work. This is just, our activities and funness for the day.
Love
Yeah,
it.
it was fun. I was putting together my new time blocking calendar now that I have a, blank slate.
It won't be
It's
blank
like-
very
it's
long.
like-
Trust me.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's like playing all the time. Like we play. That's how it feels like.
I know tomorrow we get to play at a spring training game that we're going to go to with JJ. Y'all know JJ. Stays in whatever his last name. He's here, and we're going out to dinner tonight and going to a spring training game tomorrow to do a little networking. So it's good.
Love it. Awesome. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Okay. For everybody else that didn't share, I got a quick question, and then I am going to kick it over to Roger to kind of explain some of the stuff that we just talked about with Jordan there. But I got a quick question. How many realize what this week is? Who knows?
It's the end of the first quarter.
Absolutely
That's
right.
what I
This
was
is
gonna
the
say.
last
Yeah.
full week of quarter number 1. So the question for those that did not share, that didn't have anything cool in the last week, let's hear how you guys are doing. Who's sitting pretty well on their first quarter goals? Mickey is? Vidal? Yeah.
Well, I got some new ones now, so.
Jordan
Just
saying
change
yeah.
people.
Anybody else?
We're trying to get one more before the quarter's up.
One more in the next week.
Yeah, for real.
Okay.
I think things are taking shape on my, because I think one thing that we discussed before the first quarter was, if this is one of the first years that you're trying to set goals, that maybe your first quarter is more so a like an identification type of period where you're trying to put things into place. So I think for me, or for my business, it was more trying to test things out to see what works and what doesn't. So
And how do you feel Q1 went in that case?
a lot of ahas, and I'm starting to realize what needs to be done. I know I need to do more video. I need to that's just going to bring more of the awareness. So I think it's going pretty well. So it's just staying consistent with that type of stuff.
Anybody feel like Q1 was just a big old blur and nothing's different today than it was in December?
It was a blur, but I don't think there's nothing different. It was just changed on what we thought we were going to do, only because we had more setup than we realized. But that's exciting because now I feel like that'll catapult us to the next once that is set up. And so it changed, but I think it's super exciting because now I feel like it's just picking up steam right now,
Okay. How about this one? I love asking this question. How many of you guys feel like your results are no different today than they were in December, and you're trying to figure out why, but you can't think of anything that you've actually done in the last 3 months to change the results? Basically, I'm asking how many of you guys are living the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing every single day, every single week, every single month with excitement because it's going to change. But it's no different than what was happening before. Anybody feel like they have that realization or that aha that I guess I really didn't do anything different in the last 3 months that I've always done? No? Well, that's good. Nobody feels that way. Okay, good. So, final question that I have, and then we're gonna kind of go into something, and it's funny how this is all just kind of lining up. Who can explain the point of marketing? What is the job of your marketing? Javier, was that your hand? Our own intern's gonna jump in. Let's hear it.
Leads.
Leads? Okay, Javier, what do you think?
Have people take a look into your website, or in the case of digital marketing, and get to the subscribe stage where they give you their information. So that will be like the ultimate goal, get to the subscribe stage in marketing.
Okay, I know his audio is a little low, but I'll recap what he just said. It shows that he's actually been paying attention on our meetings and all of our internal meetings that he's on. He said your marketing's basically, the job of it is to get them to check you out, right? Eventually get to your website, check your website out, and get to that subscribe stage. Right? Get to the subscribe stage of the business. Anybody else have a take? What's the job of your marketing? What is the marketing supposed to do? Jacob, I see you raise your hand virtually.
To create awareness for your target market or your target avatar.
Okay.
And that can go so many directions.
Create awareness.
For your create awareness for your customer, create a presence and awareness for what you do or how you can help somebody or how somebody can help you.
Okay. Another good answer. Anybody else? What's the job of your marketing? So go. And then Lisa, I see your hand too.
Sorry. Make your phone ring.
Make your phone ring. Okay. Lisa, what were you going to say?
I feel like it gives your prospective clients an opportunity to get to know you and see who you are virtually from a distance, where, you know, some people need warm up time before they actually make that phone call, and that's an opportunity for you to do that, especially if you're doing your videos, because your personality always comes through. Especially I saw Liz and Marie's video the other day about, and that was awesome because their personalities came through, and I want to work with them because I just like their personality, and that's an opportunity to do that.
Yep. That kind of goes back to Jacob's point, right? Awareness. You're just saying, giving them time. I love how you put it in there. You know, some people need that warm up time. They need to feel a little more comfortable, right? Before they, to Seagal's point, pick up the phone and call. Anybody else? Go once, going twice here. Thoughts on what's the point of your marketing? Nimitz, is that really your hand, or is this some stupid video where you actually raised a hand when I asked the question?
Yeah, it's my hand and it's my video. So marketing, it's your engagement to your customer, prospect clients to create a relationship before getting their emails, phone numbers, names, then later on convert them to a paying client. So that's marketing.
Yep, it's that early on stage. It's Roger walking into the party and initially seeing his wife. Not then, but now wife. Anybody else? Does anybody believe that your marketing is a direct result in your sales? Meaning marketing dictates your sales. Anybody feel like your marketing dictates your sales?
Marketing is key. Without marketing, you have no sales. Without marketing, the world doesn't move. No revenue, no product will be sold. No services will be sold.
But does it dictate your sales?
No.
Well, says no. Okay. Mickey, what were you going to say? I saw your hand come up.
Sell meaning when we sell a product, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I will say yes, in a sense that it might, in our case, our property gets sold faster in the first week, and we're trying to shorten that time so that they don't stay as long as the other properties around us. And it's because of marketing. So yes, it does affect yourself. You know, maybe my house will stay longer on the market if I just listed on MLS and didn't make noise around it. Okay. But because I'm making all this pre-marketing thing going on, then I can actually have it pre-sold before it hits the MLS or in that first week.
Okay, I like that take.
It may not dictate it, you know, from a whole, because like, just like Mickey's point, it'll sell eventually, but marketing certainly helps it. It's, you know, definitely, you know, you could be running on high octane, or you could put some, you know, low grade fuel in it, and you'll get there eventually, but with marketing, you'll get there a whole lot faster.
Okay. So let me ask this question, Jacob. I'm going to throw you on the spot just because you're on the call and you fit the model. Does the car lot that you work for, do they market?
I was
a
going
lot?
to say that.
Do they market a lot?
Oh, a whole lot, yes.
And that marketing typically does what?
Drives customers to the lot
To the
or
lot.
to the site,
Yep.
or to the phone. It's an octopus. So
Okay, so obviously they get to the site. They, does every single person that lands on that site end up clicking on some car and sending some request and want to buy it?
they do not. So they will either pick up the phone and call the sales, type in the chat bot, drive to the lot, drive past the lot. Oh, hey, I know somebody who works there. There's a bunch of arms to it.
How about the bodies that come on the lot? If you just
Yes,
sat
so-
there and watched them, would anything happen?
No, they wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. And primarily my location that I'm at, we're not a drive-by destination. We're in a weird spot like downtown Charleston. Like, you don't just drive past our lot. So we do a lot more marketing to get people to come to the lot, versus, because they're not going to drive by. If we didn't market at all, would we sell a vehicle? Yeah, maybe to some people who are walking by or driving by, but that's 2%. But we have to market at my location to get people there.
So I bring that up because a lot of times we get confused, and Roger and I hear this a lot in this space, not necessarily from you guys, but we hear this in this space where, hey, my quarter didn't go so well. I didn't really hit my goals. I've been marketing my butt off, but I'm not getting any leads. I'm not making any deals happen. I'm not closing any new clients. But I'm marketing my butt off. I'm doing everything. And it always, we hear this like crazy. The blame gets put to, well, the marketing doesn't work. When in reality, is the marketing really the piece that dictates the sale? Or is it the next layer that we need to start to think about? Is that sales process, right? And now each of your businesses, you've got multiple different areas where a sale can happen. I love what Jacob was just saying there. It could be through a chat bot, it could be through them calling, it could be them coming physically, right? And that's in the case of a car lot. But we can take that analogy and use it in a number of different places. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because when Roger and I were looking back after about a year now, a little over a year, TRC, we were looking at our website. I know kind of what our traffic looks like on a month-to-month type basis, but the authority, what we've been able to build with Google is off the charts. But it has nothing to do, as far as it's not a direct tie to what our sales are. The sales that happened in the last year, what I'm trying to say is, have nothing to do with how much authority and how much work that went into, and really we didn't even work that hard. We just worked very smart to build that up. But it has no direct ties into it. So some of you guys, I'm saying this because some of us, sometimes we start to worry too much about, well, is that the perfect approach for SEO? Instead of worrying, is that what I need to do right now in my business to make business happen? Does that make sense? Segal, you without really having to do much, you climb the charts and you're up there with some of your top competitors, right? Great. Some of you, it wasn't that easy, and it still isn't that easy. But at the end of the day, is just ranking number 1, 2, and 3 the perfect solution and the piece that's going to bring you all the sales in the world? No, it's just going to get the foot traffic to the car lot, right? Now we got to start thinking what's next. So before I even go any deeper, Roger, I'm going to kick it over to you to kind of show this, because this is kind of to that point, Jordan, that you just brought up. Why drive them to the website? Why push people constantly? Liz, Marie, we just had a call last week, and I've said this to you guys a number of times. Just push everything to the site. There's a big reason why. It's going to help on one end, but it's also going to a lot of what you guys just said, going to bring the fire to your marketing to help it convert. And it's going to give us the opportunity when we open this conversation of how do we convert more now? It's going to give us more opportunity for it. So Roger, I'll kick it over to you here for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, thanks for kicking it over this way. So what we're going to look at is some data, right? It's like, what does it really matter? To Sean's point, we teach all this stuff around SEO, kind of right now driving traffic back to your website. Why is it so important? Well, there's a correlation. There's definitely a correlation between what the traffic looks like that's coming to your website and how you're going to rank, how people are going to perceive you, if you're going to be seen as an authority or not. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a couple examples, some websites that you guys are pretty familiar with, including the TRC website, so you can see the comparable and what that means for you guys long term. Keep in mind, what I'm about to show you is something that takes time, but it doesn't have to take forever. One thing that I'm going to point out before I share is that TRC, the website, has been up for roughly about a year. So we were able to accomplish these particular numbers that I'm about to show you in about a year. And then we'll compare it to some companies that have been out there that we're very familiar with and what they're doing to utilize these numbers. So let me go ahead and share here. All right, so just give me a thumbs up if you can see it. All right, so we got it up and going. So this tool right here, Ahrefs, it's a data SEO tool that I use to kind of really put a scorecard towards a website, and it gives me a lot of data. I shrunk my screen here because I wanted us to focus on these numbers right here. I'm also going to focus on these backlinks just a little bit, just so you guys kind of get a perspective of what this is. But this right here, this UR score, stands for URL rating. And this DR score stands for domain rating, the overall website, the overall domain. So we use this score and the Moz score, but this is something that we've been using lately, is gaining a lot of traction, and we wanted to make sure where we fall, right? So these scores go from 1, or actually go from 0 to 100. So as you can see, I put the Top Results Consulting website here, and it did a search, and it pretty much gave us a score. And this is 1 year of work, right? So it has a domain, an overall domain authority of 54, which when I looked at this, and I hadn't checked this in a while, we were just kind of grinding and doing videos, doing the podcast, a lot of social media stuff. But what was happening is we're creating value for our clients, right? We're creating a lot of blog posts, a lot of value, which in turn kind of turned into traffic, natural traffic that you guys and people that just would randomly find us on the internet would then come to the website. So that started really pinging Google and letting them know, hey, this website's important. Now, that wasn't the only thing that caused these numbers to really skyrocket. If you look at these backlinks, and that's why I left this kind of area open, is we've gone out and tried to purposely acquire certain blogs to mention us. We've done some press releases, but we haven't done a whole lot of that. What we found here when I started doing the analysis is that there's now people are actually looking at TRC, or the Top Results Consulting team and website and company, as an authority, and also as a place to get information, right? So now we're getting natural backlinks. People are actually mentioning us on social media posts. Hey, if you want to learn here's a good blog post. Now people are sharing our stuff, which now checks another box, right? Really kind of gets us going. So this is awesome. So our overall domain rating, which is very important for us, is at a 54. This is ridiculous when we talk about domain rating, because normally you start at a 0. You probably, a good one, when I talk to a client, even an SEO client that's looking into a Dominator package or something like that, is we're trying to get them to about a 20 to a 30 maybe, right? It's really hard to get to a 30. But when we saw this, I had to go back to the drawing board, really ask a lot of questions like, all right, how can we do that? How can we replicate this? What's going on here? Well, what ended up going back, and what ended up kind of showing us, or the data showed us, is that it was all the action, right? All the value, all the content At the end of the day, the content, when we're talking about content, it's videos on YouTube, it's posts on social media, it's blog posts, it's kind of even the podcast, right? Because people watch us on Sean has us all over different podcast platforms. Well, guess what? Those people are then looking for us online and finding our website, going there and doing more searches, which causes traffic. So that's basically this score right here. The higher it gets, the more authority you get, obviously, right? But the easier it is to rank your pages. So that's where Google starts looking at this and starts looking at these numbers and is like, all right, cool, this website must be important. So when we post a blog post, it no longer has to be pretty much beefed up and super optimized and kind of really a big strategy. It just has, Google's gonna have more trust to actually rank that piece of content a little higher, just because we've already proven ourselves right there with these numbers. So a lot of you guys are just getting started. So you have to create blog posts that are very powerful, right? Have a lot of information, basically to prove yourself. So if you continue to do that, this number will continue to go up, which in a result, your rankings will continue to improve because you'll continue to get more trust from Google and other search engines. The other thing that happened to us that was very cool is that these numbers go up. Me as an SEO and my team, when we actually start recruiting bloggers that we want to reach out to for our clients so we can build links back to our SEO kind of campaigns, we run this test, and we make sure that they have a good domain rating and URL ratings on their websites. So now now that we kind of gained these numbers, we're starting to get reached out by actual people that want to basically give us content for free. And then in exchange, they want us to mention a certain company or whatnot for a backlink. So we're now really positioning ourselves with these numbers as the authority in our space. So now that you've seen these numbers, 30 here on the URL, domain rating of 54, and me telling you, hey, that's great. Well, let's compare. Let's use a couple of websites here that we're familiar with. The first one that I'm going to show is very, very authoritative, right? It's Zillow. We all kind of know that company very well. So I'm going to take this URL here, and I'm going to pop it in here. And we're going to run a quick analysis just so you guys have comparison. So now Zillow has been around for a while. They have a massive amount of people going to their website. So you can see how they're at a domain rating overall of a 91 and URL rating of 57 on their homepage. Awesome. But you can't compare yourself to that because that's years of work, right? So if TRC today stopped, our domain authority probably stay there, probably kind of maintain its power, but it wouldn't keep going up, which means we won't be able to reach these numbers, right? So we, as a company, we look at those numbers and we're like, oh man, the more we do, the more those numbers go up, the easier it is for us to rank our content. The more we continue to get seen as an authority, the more people start reaching out and finding us on Google, right? So this is kind of a great example of someone that's at the top. Now we're going to check another company here. I've been kind of looking at some of their stuff, Bigger Pockets, right? Bigger Pockets. We'll go ahead and pop them in and run the analysis for their site. Again, Bigger Pockets is a very popular website, has a ton. You look at these numbers and it's like, boom, great. They're doing awesome. They have a lot of traffic to their website. Obviously, a lot of marketing. When I say traffic, there's a lot of action happening, right? There's a lot of videos. There's a lot of blog posts every month being put on their website. So obviously, this makes sense. We're finding a trend, right? Action. Action will produce these numbers, which will then make it easier for you to rank. Now we're going to go with another one here. One more commercial type of website. We Buy Ugly Houses, right? So we're going to take this domain. We're going to pop it in here. We'll run it. A little lower. So I want to kind of point something out, and that's I purposely did this with this particular company. Again, a lot of you guys that are in real estate, you're familiar with this particular company. They're one of the first ones that pretty much got into this industry, and look at their numbers, 42, 24. And guess what? a lot of you guys, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's some of you guys, especially some of our SEO clients, that are outranking We Buy Ugly Houses. A lot of those home investor websites that are out there, we're starting to outrank them. So why are we starting to outrank them? Why are we taking over a lot of their authority and they're starting to drop? Their team has stopped marketing online quite a bit. What they've done is now they've gained enough authority, not only online, but offline, where they're still running. Trust me, they're fine. They're doing fine. But you guys can start going after things like this because now they're giving us a piece of the pie. When they stop doing their SEO, they stop doing a lot of marketing, they open up piece of that online pie, right? So this is an opportunity for you guys to get excited and be like, one of the big players is starting to kind of take the foot off the gas. That means we have an opportunity to start kind of putting our foot on the gas for our company, start kind of get out there and putting content out there to get it going. So the next one that I'm going to show here is what it's actually Lorraine, right? We're going to use Lorraine's website here because Lorraine has been pretty active lately on a lot of stuff that she's doing.
Hold on, Lorraine. Better hold on.
This. We'll go ahead and run this. All right. So don't worry, Lorraine. I'm not showing this to be like, oh, it's low. I'm showing it because most of you are right here. This is basically the reality, right? This is where we all start. We start at 0. We start gaining. When we start seeing this needle move for domain authority of 1.3, hey, you know what? You exist. Most of the websites out on the internet, I would actually confidently say probably 90% of the websites out there, because there's trillions of them, right, are at 1 or 0. Okay. So when you have a website, you start putting content on there, it'll be slow, but it'll start getting the key here for Lorraine is that she just started doing some social media. She just started doing you guys started doing that podcast. You're going to be putting more blog posts. You're kind of getting mentioned in different places. Don't stop. Because this is like anything else. It's like a flywheel, right? It starts really slow. It's kind of hard and annoying to get it going. But once you get it going, this thing starts moving very fast as long as you stay consistent. So we're going to pull another one of our clients here.
Roger, I'm sorry, quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Does it matter which tab on my website, or is it just the site in general? So I guess what I'm asking is because one of my tabs is probably more active than maybe some of the other tabs. So is it just the website in total, or does it matter which tab people are more active on?
So this URL rating basically gives a score for each page on your website. So if we want to check a certain page, right, you might have a high domain rating on one page, so each page does get a score. Currently, I'm looking at your home pages, and right here, Bill in Appalachia, we have the homepage has a 10, which is awesome. So over there, you guys at Bill in Appalachia, you guys actually have quite a bit of traffic because of your social media, because of what you guys are doing, action to that homepage. But the overall domain rating, Google's kind of looking at it like, okay, there's probably not enough content, and I would have to kind of go back and see what, have you guys been adding any type of blog posts, any value, right? So they're seeing it. Overall, the domain doesn't have, too much content on there. That's why it's not looking as a big value. But what you do have by seeing this number 10 here, you guys have natural traffic come to the site, have natural traffic coming to your homepage. So that's basically how you start analyzing this. But I don't want you guys to get stuck with these numbers. The reason we're showing this is because we go back to the TRC, and let's just pop it back in there, TRC website, right? Let's pop it back in here. And this took, like I said, this took about a year, and these numbers just skyrocket. Trust me, I was at the beginning, and when we started kind of rolling, these numbers would have moved, just like what we just saw with your guys' websites. They were super small. But the momentum, once we got the momentum, we got that flywheel going, this thing just started moving. It wouldn't stop, right? And what was happening? What was the correlation between those numbers and what we were doing is a ton of content was putting out there around our brand. So those YouTube videos that we're doing, the podcasts that we're doing, the blog posts that we consistently do, all that is happening very, very fast every month. We're putting a lot of content out there, which reflects this authority. And I think it was Vidal that just kind of mentioned his story about walking into, I think it was Home Depot, and someone asking a question and actually listening, right? Because you're kind of sound and you represent an authority spot within your industry. I'm a part of a number of SEO groups, and I have been for a long time. And now people are starting, when I post certain things or I do, people look at our website, they are impressed with what we have, and I'm getting reached out to through Messenger, and people are asking general questions, other developers, other SEOs, just because what we look like online. And that's really cool. That's where you guys want to be. You want to position yourself as that authority. And it's really, really not, I don't want to say simple. It's the consistency. You guys have the knowledge, is just producing that content and keep it consistent coming to your website. So I'll kind of leave it at that. See if there's any more questions. I'll stop sharing here.
I have a question.
Sure.
So Roger, for like example, me that I'm barely gonna start the website, do you guys have a list, like all the blogs and everything that I should be doing? Do we have a list that I could look at? Or, I mean, I know you guys have given me a lot of information, but do we have a list? So I could go through my checklist and make sure I'm doing what I need to be doing.
Sure. So for Laura, she's kind of developing a program, right? It's like a tool. It's almost like a tool for development for kids, adults, and try to kind of like how would you describe it, Laura? Because I sometimes try to get it. Well, let me put it. It's a program, right? It's a certain program for personal development.
Yeah.
It's learning. It's a personal development learning program.
Mm-hmm.
So for Laura, she just asked a question. What do I do? Great question. Where do I start? I want to do action. Well, number one is we've already talked about adding videos to your website, right?
Yes,
adding certain videos, so some of them are going to be ungated, which means they're going to be on certain pages that are free, right? That they're not going to need to pay. Well, those videos I'm always going to recommend, and Sean and the team will always recommend that you put them on YouTube. Not that it makes it easier, it's because now that content is there. People will find it that come to your website. People will see those videos and watch them. But guess what? Those videos will also rank and do well, and people will find them on YouTube. And if you do your job right and you have good titles and good descriptions and a link back to the website, well, you'll start getting people and traction to your website from that YouTube video. So that's number one.
Yeah.
That was really easy for you.
Yeah, I know it's a big list and I don't want to take the time. But my question was, do you guys have a list that I could have? Because I know, like, I don't want to sit here and go through all the lists. It's a lot of stuff you guys have given us. I just wonder if that's one, if you guys have one, so I could.
Easy list to get started with, and this goes for anybody.
Okay.
Take the 10 most commonly asked questions that you get about your product or service and write a blog about each one of them.
Okay, so blogs.
Then take the 10 questions that nobody's asking you that you wish they would ask you and write a blog about that. That's 20 blogs right out of the rip. 10 most commonly asked questions. Answer those questions via blog.
So you have blogs, videos.
I would write a blog and I would do a video. Super simple. Write a blog, do a video for each one of those 10. Then I would sit down and ask yourself, what are the dang questions that I wish people would ask me more of, that they're not asking me, and I don't know why they're not, but they just won't, and do a video and a blog about those as well.
Okay, so you guys answered my question, but I still want to know if there's, you know how the last time we were talking, you guys gave us like how to pin the geo information onto my website. I wanted to know if you guys have a list of all those things, because there's a lot of them and they've been given to us in different times. So I just don't have them all. I just want to see if I mean, if you don't have a list, it's fine.
No,
Okay,
we don't
perfect.
have one master list
Okay.
of all of this stuff. This is why you get on the calls. This is why there's the member portal. All the
Okay.
resources we've ever given out are in there. So yeah, simple answer, no.
Okay.
There's not a
Got it.
master list.
Thank you.
On that piece.
If I may, each website and each business is a different story. So
absolutely,
there's no purpose of creating a list for everyone when your website may have a different marketing strategy. So there you go.
Thank you.
Real quick, I do want to share the screen and show some correlation. You guys just saw some data from Roger, right? And we talked about how it was basically like pushing a boulder up a mountain at the beginning, right? Trying to get some things started. I'm only going to focus in on these two reports right here, right? Q1 of 2020, this is kind of where it all got started. I just pulled this report to get some things going. First couple quarters last year, it was a lot of manual labor. A lot of Roger and I doing a lot of stuff to try to gear some stuff up. But if you look right here, Q3, and this is probably, if he dug deeper into Ahrefs reports and we kind of lined him up with this right here, this climb from Q3 to Q4 and now up even into Q1 of 2021, we would see a direct correlation on why are we, 600, almost 700 in the last quarter visits to the website. There'll be that direct correlation to a lot more authority. Now, is it just the authority? No. What I love about what Roger just said was what built that authority with Google and with our rankings was value, content. I cannot emphasize that piece enough. Roger and I were not worried about, did we do the content right? Did we write the right blog? He can attest to this. Itzel can even attest to this. There's been numbers of times I've jumped on meetings and said, our blogs look like shit. I don't like them. But you know what? They had content and they were on the site and they were there. Were they perfect? Were they everything I wanted them to be? Did they look the way we want to? No, they were there though, right? It was content. Is it the perfect content? Could we have been writing about something better? Sure. But it was content. We were putting value out there. The podcast. Why did we start it? It wasn't because Roger and I are trying to become podcast famous. It was because it was an easy way to share value in formats that people will get attracted to, right? And it made it was a smart way of putting more stuff, valuable stuff to the website. And as a result of it, as we got into Q4 and launched that, and as we really rolled into Q1 and really got going this last 3 months, very consistent with the podcast, data doesn't show 500, 600, 700 pings to the website in a month, or in a quarter. It's a lot of eyeballs, right? Now, this report that I have right next to it, this is based on meetings. So you guys know that all over our website, there's a place that says book a call, book a call, book a call, book a call, right? Everybody that's on HubSpot right now, I've been pushing you guys to use the meeting link. Why? I forget who said it earlier. It's a very safe, comfortable way for somebody to schedule some time. It fits their schedule and it doesn't feel pressure, right? But look at the correlation on our meetings booked over the last 365 days. These ones were a lot of me manually pushing, sending. But look at the correlation. Q3 2020 skyrocketed into 2020 Q4. Massive traffic growth. Look what happened. The meetings started to climb right along with it. And over the last quarter, over 120, almost 130 meetings booked through the website. Where'd my stop share go to get? There it is. So I can see everybody again. Again, it's not to say, hey, it's going to happen overnight. It's to show those meetings got booked because we constantly push traffic to the site. Some of you guys have reached out to me and said, hey, I want to introduce you to so-and-so. They need your service. The natural response for me is, awesome. Here's our website. Go check out some of the stuff that's on there and grab a time based on the calendar that you see on there that works for you. Why? I want them on the website. I want them all that value that Roger and I have put on there. I want them spending time on there to consume it. It's value to them. It shows Google that people love spending time on our site. And as a direct result of that, it's done some fantastic numbers. I don't think everybody quite understood or maybe even grasped the concept yet, Roger, on that domain score, right? Being in the 50s already in just a short year of it. But that That's one of those, I think we have to put a disclaimer on it, right? Not everybody's results are going to be the same on there, but it just goes to show that if you guys just put a little bit of that focus and not get so wrapped up in, is it perfect? Is it the right thing? Do I have it all done correctly? To Laura's point, did I follow the checklist on exactly how to do every little piece? Just get it up there, get it out there, and start using your site as a tool, not just something that's out there. This is why, Jordan, I was saying, when they're reaching out to you and you've got some good blogs on there, you got things that commonly ask questions, you build a page specific for you. Hey, you know that they're going to ask you about, hey, I want to send such and such address, blah, blah, blah. Build the resource, put it over there, just send them to it, because you never know what else they might stumble on while they're there. I know that by getting people on our site, they start paying attention to some of the case study videos that we've done. They start watching some of the podcast episodes that we've done. And I can tell this without digging into the data. The data will show that to me. But just by the time I get on a call with them, they'll mention something. Oh, I watched this case study with Jordan. I really like what he said in such and such. Or I watched this case study with JP. Or I love what you and Roger were talking about in such and such episode of the podcast. Makes your sales process so much easier, right? Because they've already kind of gotten involved in it. So easy task, push everything to your website. Simple. The second easy task, sit down and think about what are the 10 commonly asked questions and the 10 questions I wish people would ask. And there's 20 value assets right there that can be built out and put into your site and leveraged, used. Some of you guys know I launched a little woodworking. I took a hobby and turned it into a little bit of a financial business, right? Building things like these flags and these types of furniture pieces and stuff. We slapped together a quick website, thepatriotwoodworks.com. I've had 2 posts that I put out in Facebook Marketplace, and that's it. And I am at a point where I have to tell people I can't do anything for them for 3-4 months. And they're coming through those posts, and I'm constantly pushing them over to the site. And I've been looking at the data and the traffic already on the Patriot Woodwork site. It's only been live for a couple months, and it's insane. And why is everybody flooding to it? To me, to say, hey, I want you to build these things for me. It's the look, the image. They see a great looking website. I'm pushing things to it. I made things easy. There's forms that they can fill out. There's a chat bot that they can chat with. It's comfortable. It's low pressure. And I'm not joking. Some of these people are saying, no big deal. We'll wait 3-4 months. Tell us when you're ready. They're not going and looking for the competition. Why? They feel safe, they feel comfortable, and they feel that it's a valuable resource, right? That it's a valuable company that they're doing business with. Meanwhile, I've had people ask, like, can I come to your shop and talk to you? The shop's my garage. Take a picture in the shop and there's a washer and dryer sitting next to my chop saw. But they feel like it's this high-end, incredibly, amazing shop that they could come to and see sample projects. Why? Because I keep pushing to a website that looks amazing and has a lot of great pieces on it. And I haven't even done much with it. TRC was that same way a year ago. And we've just added and added and added. And a lot of you guys are in that exact same spot. You've got a great looking site. You got great bones. It's a good structure. Now it's time to just pump the crap full, right, of valuable pieces and stop worrying about, should that gate, should that not gate? Is it right? Do I have all the right pieces? Is this the right content? Blah, 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 blah. Questions? Comments? Gripes, moans, complaints?
I think that's good. You just got me. I'm writing a blog right now. I'm going to do a video on it. I'm excited.
Haha, me too.
Yeah, I want to actually comment on Jacob and Jordan that video, Jordan, that you did, I watched the whole thing. You did a full walkthrough. One of the things that's really easy to kind of use in the real estate space, I know it's more for realtors, but like the Matterport kind of 3D kind of walkthroughs, they look really cool. But the video walkthrough is going to get probably more engagement. Not only that, but you can actually put it on YouTube, right? Actually put a title of what you're doing. But I just want to give you guys kudos on that. It's like that right there. When I watched that, I was like, dude, if you can do that every time you come across a property or every time you think of something that you ran into a problem, right? I know Mickey has done it when she did a video. She was in the basement kind of showing certain things. Man, those are just excuses for you to be able to create a blog post and create a video. And now you created an asset, create a backlink at that, right? So a lot of those scores that I showed earlier are directly reflected based on the quality of backlinks that you have to your site. You can create your own backlinks by creating those videos, putting a backlink on YouTube and linking it back to your website. So you do have some control. And once again, to Sean's point and what we've done, we just continue to do that, control our own faith. Next thing we know, that score is super high and we're getting pinged by different people, all by trying to kind of just add value to our market or to our industry. But yeah, continue to do that. You guys are going to see a lot of results. That was an awesome video, by the way.
I love your point right there. Control your own fate. All you got to do a blog, do a video, post it to YouTube, put the link in the YouTube description, back to it. That very simple steps. Is it time consuming? Sure. Absolutely. There's some time. You're going to have to schedule some time to make it happen. But every single one of those that you do, you're just creating more power, more power, more power. The second piece of that, you're also just building assets that when people do reach out, ask questions, curious about what you do, hey, tell me a little bit more about it. Hey, go check this out over here. Send them a link. Hey, check this out over here. Hey, I actually have something on my website that'll help explain all of that to you. Go check that out right here. Send them the link. You're driving your own traffic to the site. You're boosting up your own pieces. Jordan, do you have your hand raised?
Yeah. To Roger's point, we're doing a lot of the video walkthroughs, and I can think of a ton of other videos that I could be doing. How do we take the video and turn it into a blog without me having to sit here and write it? Is there a resource out there that I can get it like transposed into physical words?
There are. There's websites out there that you can take the video or even take an audio version and have it transcribed, but there's also a little sneaky workaround inside of YouTube. Roger can show that on there where you can actually, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to still need to, you can extract basically the translation or the transcription of that video, but you're going to need to go through it and clean up the words because it's never going to translate correctly, right? Or transcribe, not translate.
It's not that bad, Jordan. It depends how you want your blog to be, but in the case studies, I just go very simple into what I was doing my walkthrough. I just make sure that I have keywords like, my location needs to be there 3 times and, neighborhoods and all of that. And then it's the same in the description that will be in my blog also. So I don't double things.
Got it. Thank you.
I don't know if you guys are kind of watching the screen there. I'm sharing. I'm on a YouTube video right here. I'll X out of it. All you have to do is go to pretty much upload it to YouTube, right? Number one, most important part is going to be your title, your description. Make sure you have a link back to your website, right? But then you're like, all right, I want to create this as a blog post. How do I do that quickly? How can I get the transcription without paying somebody? So you're going to go to these 3 little dots, has the open transcript. And then you have this right here. You can even see these timestamps. You can even get rid of those. Boom. So it's just going to give you a chunk of everything you said, but you can go in there and have it edited. What a lot of people do is take this, put it onto a Google Doc, give it to a blog writer or some, you know, some kind of writer, and then they will take that information and create it into a nice readable blog. So just a quick tip there. You can approach that.
Keep in mind, you might do a 7, 8, 9, 10-minute video, but your blog post doesn't need to be every single word that's in the video. That blog post could be 400, 500, 600 words, right? Which is barely even a page at most, a couple paragraphs. So think of it this way. You've got the video. The blog is kind of a piece. Again, we're using it to check a box right now. It's got some of the highlights in it, but then you've also embedded that video to the blog when we upload it. And it's encouraging people to go check out the whole video where we're getting even deeper into it. You can even say that in the blog. Be sure to check out the video where I go even deeper into this topic. So let's say in your video, you talked about 4 things. Well, I got 4 quick sections in my blog. I got a couple sentences in each one, and I put a little call to action somewhere in there that says, hey, be sure to watch the full length video for all the details.
Yeah, I guess I
Something
could
like
just
that.
sit there and watch the video and start typing too. I guess that wouldn't be too hard.
Now, the opposite goes in for like Lorraine. You and I were talking about this last week on our call. You're in one of our content packages. We're producing blogs. You take the blog and the blog becomes the fuel for the video. So the blog's already written. You read through the blog and go, okay, now I'm going to sit down in front of my camera and I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to record myself for 5, 6, 7 minutes talking about the exact same topic that the blog is written about. I'm just not going to say that I'm not reading the blog verbatim, but I see what was in that blog, and now I'm going to talk on that topic. And we just created a second asset off of something that was already created, and you really didn't have to think about it. Because you read a blog, and now you turn on the camera for 8, 9 minutes, record yourself, boom, you got yourself another video.
One last question. Our video walkthroughs, should they be standalone blogs on our blog page, or should they go on the property itself, those pages?
I would say it really depends, right? Like the walkthrough you just did, you probably want that on the property, right? It's like you probably have a property page, you probably want it on there just because it's going to give someone that actually finds it on there. But if you feel there's some value in that video, it's okay to reuse it and put it on a blog page as well. 100% fine. So don't feel like you're stuck only using it once. It just depends on what kind of value you have in there. Another thing, if you do have access to a video editor, or if you're going to use Fiverr for some kind of video editing, I see this a lot, and we sometimes do this. Chop up that video. Say you did a walkthrough and you happen to be in the bathroom and you're explaining something. You're like, man, I wish I can do that. I don't want to do that. I want to go back to the property. Chop it up. You can do an intro and an outro on a video, have a videographer do edit, and that can be your video. That's a brand new video that then you can post it on YouTube, put a different title, and then use that for your blog post, whatever it might be. So you chop up your videos. That's another kind of strategy I see a lot.
We'll probably do a training around this in a couple weeks, but the moral of the story comes down to this. One good blog article a week could fuel 5 days of social posts, a video a week, plus your blog a week, plus an email blast to your database of people that it made sense to, if that is an element in your business. Think of that. One really solid written blog article can turn itself into all of this other marketing. So some of you guys that have been kind of bouncing around trying to figure out, like, how am I going to get this done? Whatever the case, this is why we created the Content Pro packages. Content Lite, 2 blogs a month. Content Pro, 4 blogs a month. Our team would take the heavy lifting right off your back. The blogs that they're going to create are the blogs that are by research, the ones that should be getting created. based on keywords, based on competitor analysis, based on what we think is going to help push your rankings up. Let them create the blog. All you got to do then is translate that into some social posts throughout the week, shoot a video about it. Boom, you just nailed a ton of marketing off of one piece of asset. Anybody else? Any other questions? I see a lot of people working, so that's always a good sign. If you're actually working on what we're talking about.
That's good. That's a good sign, Sean. Taking note.
This is the blog power hour here, where everybody just gets on and writes their blogs.
Cool. All right. Well,